Hey friends, glad you're here. So in this video, I want to share my story of 10 plus years of being sick to then becoming a healthy person and taking running as my new passion. This is a story of how I went from looking like this to being a healthy runner. Let's get into it. First of all, thank you for being here. My name is Esteban. People call me Esti, and that's how I named my channel, Esti.Run. Very original. I just wanted to keep it simple, to be honest. I am a pastry chef. I'm a passionate runner. I'm not a professional runner. I'm not a coach. Somebody who's documenting a journey of discipline, effort, running, and above all, trying to create a community with people that have suffered the same that I have, which is ulcerative colitis. And somebody who has a stoma bag. Don't know what a stoma bag is? Here it is. Stoma bag. But let's get into meat and potatoes of the stuff. And so this is a great opportunity because I've always been quite passionate about documenting things, maybe not talking in front of a camera, but at least documenting things. B, trying to connect with more people, because when I was really sick, I was trying to reach out for help and trying to find people on YouTube and other platforms that can talk about the experiences, and C, to keep me very accountable. If I have to create content, create videos, I will have to go out and train, run, talk about my stoma bag, which I think is a little bit of taboo. It makes people feel uncomfortable. I like to just challenge myself in many ways, and that's what the channel is about, right? And now we go back to a little bit of me, right? I'm 34 years old. I know, thank you, I look a little bit younger. Thank you. I also feel about 25, 26, 27 years old. I was so sick for 10 years. I feel like I missed a big part of my 20s. I feel younger mentally and physically. Let me tell you about the story of colitis. First of all, what's colitis? Autoimmune disease that happens only in the colon. Same thing as the large intestine. Basically, two intestines, the small intestine from your stomach, everything goes down to the small intestine, which is once it finishes, it opens to the colon or the large intestine, which is, it has a form of a, and then it finishes in the rectum. So colitis, it's an inflammation of the colon. Ulcerative, because there's ulcers. There's basically wounds that bleed, hurt a lot, that creates cramping, creates a lot of pain, weakness, vomiting, diarrhea. Your body doesn't identify the colon as part of its own, so it attacks it. So it's a very overreactive immune system. And if you eat something bad, it can create inflammation. You can have a flare-up, which is inflamed colon for days, if not weeks, or a period of my life where it was really stressful. Bang, 3 months of flare-up and inflammation, and it would take me forever to control it. It was the most annoying thing. A horrible disease. I'm not gonna say it's the worst, but it was pretty brutal. I felt very limited for 10 years. The main issue that you have to understand with ulcerative colitis is, the worst part is urgency. Urgency to go to the toilet. 5 toilet runs a day, 10 times, 15 times, 20 times. If you're really sick, you can go up to 30 times every half an hour. You can't get enough sleep because you're always going to the toilet during the night, during the day. But fuck, finding a toilet, it's the worst panic you can have when you have ulcerative colitis. If you haven't suffered from this, you won't understand it, right? You don't understand the panic that you get from not being able to find a toilet. Everywhere you go, scanning for stuff. Where the fuck is the toilet? Where is the toilet? I need to know where the toilet is. Where is it? You always ask where the toilet is. Depending on how flared up you are, how bad you are, how inflamed your colon is, you can hold it for a few minutes, or you might not even be able to hold it for 30 seconds and you shit yourself. Such an annoying disease. Everywhere you go, you will always be leaving your house with some sort of concern. Because some people will be like, oh, did I poo? Did I poo today? Oh yeah, I did. I took a poo, so I don't have to worry about anything else for the rest of the day. But you could have pooed 5 times here at home and you're already about to shit yourself. The limiting disease started when I was 19. I was working, have toilet runs more frequently, and suddenly one day I saw blood. Decided to go to the doctor, sent me to the gastroenterologist, which is the specialist. He performed a colonoscopy, which is basically you get a camera up your ass and they check precisely. I had ulcerative colitis. The whole journey started from there at 19. Even doctors would tell you that there's no way to fix it. And the way to fix it for me was the last resort, which was the ileostomy, or taking my whole colon out, basically getting rid of the issue, right? Hey guys, I wanted to quickly show you what an ileostomy is. At the end of the small intestine is the ileum, the part where the colon begins. Doctors took my whole colon out, left part of the rectum, sewing it to my pubic wall, and the ileum now being at the end of my digestive tract or my anus is brought through the abdominal wall. This is called a stoma, hence we call it a stoma bag. Hope this is clear. Now let's continue. Kept taking all these medications, and so I was having more flare-ups and more periods of remission, which is having no symptoms. Short periods, it probably never lasted for more than 6 months, and then they'll always come back for 3 months, go away for a few months, and then come back. The remission period just became shorter and shorter until 2019 was a horrible year. I tried very strong medications until they put me on biologicals, which is a very strong, it's like chemotherapy. It's not as strong and it's not chemotherapy, and it doesn't make your hair fall. Until 2020, things just got so bad that I was hospitalized for the first time in 2020. Early 2020, like Q1, and then in Q2, I was going through the strongest medication until the gastroenterologist just said, we have like 2 or 3 more medications in the protocol of things to give you. But at this stage, I mean, if the biological, which were like infusions, like the chemotherapy I'm telling you about, they didn't even work at all for not even a month. Told me it was going to take some time to kick in, but after like months of doing it, nothing really helped. So it's a huge decision, right? You're going to live with a bag. I had a conversation with my wife. Luckily, my wife and my family supported me. I mean, I was so sick that I had not a lot of options. And by the 3rd time I was in the hospital, basically I took the decision, spoke to my wife. You see it as a very dramatic sort of change, and you don't know what's honestly going to happen. And that's when I was starting to watch more videos about everything. Honestly, if I had known that this would have been so good, I would change my life that much, I would have had this surgery months, if not years earlier. Because man, I fucking suffered for such a long time, and the last year it was the most horrible. Oh, I'm going to tell you something. If you grab a bottle of water, you put it horizontally, and you have liquid, and take the lid off, opening down, it will spill the liquid straight away, right? That's how I felt. Like I was lying most of the day. I couldn't stand up, because as soon as I would stand up, I would shit myself. And that's not exaggeration. At some point I got so bad that I couldn't even walk 2 meters to the toilet because my body just couldn't hold anything. I was so inflamed. But anyway, I took the decision, and I think it was the best decision ever, because V-shaped recovery from like touching rock bottom of my disease, almost dying, to having that surgery, and then 2 weeks later gaining like 5 or 6 kilos. It was almost like an exorcism. It was literally, they took my colon out. It's like something really evil was inside me. It was like holding me back, sucking me. It was almost like a Harry Potter dementor. It was like a Harry Potter dementor. I'm not like sucking your vital energy from you, this thing. And they took it out, and I was so healthy after that. I mean, life changed straight away. And I'm gonna tell you, hospital food is not the best food, but man, the first meals I had in the hospital were the best. I would change that feeling for any 3 Michelin star restaurant in the world. That feeling when I had my first scrambled eggs, different things that I hadn't eaten in years, because I stopped eating coffee, spices, eggs. Like, there's no even point me trying to point out all the food. I was actually living on a couple of different veggies, some soup, and air. After the surgery, probably gained 10 kilos. My vitality was coming back, my energy, my essence was coming back. From that point onwards, my life changed. I started realizing that living with the bag was actually no issues at all. I'm not even going to say that, oh, it was an improvement. Even no, it was like life changing. And I'm so glad this surgery allowed me to live life to the fullest, because I don't feel limited in any way. Actually, I probably have some advantages over some of you guys. Pros and cons of having a STOMA bag. So many advantages with having a STOMA bag. So there's no nerve endings, so I have no way to know when the food is coming out. If I go for a run, normal people go for a run, they might be like, oh, did I poo? Did I not poo enough? And then they feel like they need to take a shit. Obviously, you have to stop your run, go to the toilet, whatever. If I'm on a run, I won't know if I'm pooing. I might be pooing while I run, but I won't know, and I have no urgency, right? And so I won't have to run to the toilet unless the bag actually, gets really full. Rarely happens. You don't use your butthole for anything now, right? Because everything, all your output comes through the bag, through the stomach, into the bag. And so because you don't use it, you technically don't fart. You do fart, but you fart into the bag. And as long as you don't open the bag, nobody can smell it. So if you are with a bunch of friends and they're like, hey, who farted? Well, not me. It's another but the same pro. You have no urgency, so you never have to really worry about having to run to the toilet anymore. If you have diarrhea as a regular person, you probably have to run to the toilet. If you have diarrhea, you just wait for the bag to fill, and then you go to a toilet and empty your bag. Pretty straightforward. Now, cons, that I will have to wake up at least once during the night to empty the bag. I've just got used to it, so I wake up, empty the bag during the night, and go to bed again. So it's not a big deal. 2020 was the year I finally broke that spell. For the past 4 years, I've been healthy. I've lived with a STOMA bag. I have no plans to reverse it or to get rid of it. That brings me into running. Quite enjoyed it, but never took it seriously until the past year and a half. But during my 20s, because I was so sick, I was always on and off. I was always getting sick. I couldn't fully eat. I stopped gradually running. I ran my first half marathon. I think it was 2012. In case I had no idea about fueling, nutrition, anything. I was training like 3 days a week, running 4Ks each session, which was ignorant. You don't know a lot about it. Got a bit more serious into running in 2023. I was going to the gym, but 2 or 3 days, and despite me being very healthy for the past 4 years, I've done exercise, but I haven't fully done it consistently, right? So ran a half marathon in 2012, got really sick after 2016. All I was doing during my last few years before the surgery was light cycling, meditation, and yoga. But anyway, I saw a friend on Instagram posting a run on Strava, and I remember I hadn't run in, I would do like light running on a treadmill before a workout, 10 minutes of running. He was like, just join me. We went for a run. I was like, I'll probably do 6K max. Ended up doing 16. Something clicked that day, and I started running with him regularly. I was like, you're running a marathon this year in a few months. Let me check if there's any spots. Let's just run. Let's run a marathon. I don't know. I had a midlife crisis, whatever people say. I was so healthy, started to get disciplined with running. In my 30s, I'm actually healthier than when I was in my 20s. I don't know, maybe it's inspiring for me and the family. And actually nobody in the family was running, and now pretty much everyone runs. So thank you, ST. I ran my first marathon last year, 2023, Sydney Marathon. 3 months of training prior to not running for 10 years. It was incredible. It was such a tough experience because we're at the end of winter, and suddenly that day is 33 degrees. The brutal race was 4 hours and 18, and I wasn't even prepared. Had all running shoes, some old Nike Pegasus that I ran with, but they were a bit tight. Only trained for 3 months. I don't think it was enough training. I didn't know about fueling properly. I didn't even have a watch to track any of the speed. Pretending I was listening to David Goggins, just going, "You don't know me, son.
20, you got some more in you. 22.
Who's gonna carry the boats and the logs?
Oh, jeez.
20, you got some more in you.
Just trying to push, just not even caring about a pace, the watch trying to suffer, actually trying to feel that pain. And then obviously I finished that marathon. I think you lose a little bit of motivation after a marathon. I took a break, and then by the start of 2024 I started run a half marathon in May, and then a month and a half ago 2024 Sydney Marathon, 3 hours and 28. So I took more than 40 minutes of the marathon with a lot of training for 1 year. Man, it was another life-changing experience, and something clicked that day. I woke up the day of the marathon and I was like, I'm just gonna record this. I took the GoPro and I just started filming everything, the video. If you haven't checked out the whole YouTube channel, just check out the 2024 Sydney Marathon. After that, I edited the video and I was like, I need to push with this video and document this journey. If you want to become a great runner, you have to put a lot of miles every week, run 3-4 times a week, and then trying to train 3 to 4 times a week. It's hard. It is very hard. And so that requires a lot of discipline, a lot of effort, and that's what I want to show you guys. Because above all, more than the runners and more than people who work out in the gym and I want to watch my content, there's people out there in the bedroom that are trying to find answers, that are trying to find motivation. Hey, I know you're sick. I know it feels like there's no freaking solution, because it could be months, could be years. I've experienced it. I went through these for 10 years, and especially the last few years, they were like constant. There was no break. There's a light at the end of the tunnel, and I know you could be scared, because I was scared. And I can't promise you that an ileostomy is going to work. I think your mind is strong, and you should all be positive despite all these challenges, because at points where you start, or I started, feeling like so freaking negative with how you approach things, because you don't believe that nothing's going to work. But eventually a solution will probably arise. And you know, destiny, whatever you believe in, has a way to put you into the right path. I always said I did not want to have an ileostomy, and here I am, the happiest man in the world, being able to run and doing all these things. And there was a light at the end of the tunnel, just when I thought I wasn't going to be able to find one. I might feel slightly uncomfortable in public. I'm not going to hang out in public just like sticking it out, but I have no issues at the same time. If somebody goes like, oh, can you show me your STOMA bag? I'll be like, yeah, I'll show you everything. What do you want to talk about? And we'll talk about it. For most activities, when I go out, I'll wear a belt. There are many ostomy belts that you can find online, or here's a trick, but just women's tops, and that's what I use. Just I went because I found it by accident with my wife one day. We were at a clothing shop, and then she was trying different clothes, and I saw this thing and I was like, I can probably wear these for around my belt. I found it so comfortable as well. Sometimes the belts, like, they have Velcro things here, so sometimes you sit down and then they go up, and so these things are so comfortable. Oh yes, last thing I wanted to say, I want to combine the aesthetics of working out in the gym and the feeling that you get running. I can go to the gym, but I'll never feel as good as I feel when I run. That high, man, can't change it. Hopefully it can inspire people, especially people who have IBD and digestive issues. Yeah. Cheers. Thank you for listening. So I have 1,000 other stories that I want to tell in this channel. So if you find it helpful, please consider subscribing, and I'll be logging many more miles in this running journey. If you have anything specific that you want to know about, leave them in the comments below. Thank you for watching.